Hi, it's Cindy Wabi. I am in my one of my warehouses this morning doing some rearranging to make space for some things coming in. And I'm sitting in a chair that I grew up with. It was my father's chair. It's sitting at the dining room set, and I have the whole set of 6 chairs here in my warehouse. And they're here because my mother decided to get some new Ethan Allen furniture several years ago and didn't want to be the one who parted with this set. So she gave it to me. And I didn't want it in my home, it's not my style. So I put it here in my warehouse because I could not bear to be the one who parted with this set. And I hear a lot from people who come to me. They'll say, I don't know what to do with this. My kids don't want it. It's been in the family for generations, and I just can't bear to do anything with it. But my kids don't want it. They just don't value these things. Or if it doesn't go in the dishwasher, they don't want the china. And I hear that a lot. And another thing I hear a lot at my sales is when something is on the floor or being offered for sale, and it's clearly a family memento. It's something that obviously has a real intrinsic or personal association with the family. And people say, "Oh, such a shame that no one in the family wanted this. Oh, these things should stay in the family." And there are occasions when I think that's true. It is a shame that no one in the family wanted it. We keep things for a couple of reasons. One, because we have a personal association with them. There's this intrinsic connection to them. This was my grandmother's, or I sat at this table all of my life and had milk and cookies every time I went to her house. And sometimes we keep them because we feel we ought to, you know. And that becomes the burden of life sometimes that we carry with us from house to house, from year to year. And this became kind of personal to me this week because my mother has been going through her home and just doing what I would call a process that's frequently termed Swedish death cleaning, which is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But she's going through and getting rid of things. She doesn't want to leave stuff for us to deal with, which is inevitable for all of us, okay? But she came across a rocking chair that was the rocking chair that she rocked my brother and I in. And I remember it vividly in every home I ever lived in with my parents. At some point, it went to my grandmother's home, and my grandmother refinished it and reupholstered it in this beautiful mauve tapestry kind of noir finished thing. And then it ended up back at my mother's. And so my mother is again decluttering and downscaling her personal contents of her home. And she said, "Would you like to have that rocking chair?" And I said, "No, thanks. It's a shame, but I just don't really have a place for it in my home, and it doesn't go with my things." I said, "Why don't you offer it to one of the grandgirls?" And so she sent a text and a picture out, and nobody wanted the rocking chair. And you should give, let me just say this, you should give your kids and your grandkids permission to say no to things, okay? And so that's what happened. Everybody said no. So a day or two ago, I got that picture on my phone. Are you sure you have no interest in this? And she sent me that and a picture of another chair. And I said, no, thank you. There's just not a place for it in my home. And in that moment, I had this interior conflict because I felt obligated, as I usually do when people give me things. I felt obligated to accept it. I felt obligated to hold on to it and cart it around for the rest of my life, like I am doing with my father's dining room chair and the other chairs that are here as well. And this is not a sad story. It's not a bad story. It's a I suppose an illustration, if you would. But this is how I make my living. Is that I sell things that people have held dear for all their life, for generations, and it has reached a point where no one else wants them, or there's no one to want them. And I had to give myself permission yesterday when I'm looking at that photo of that rocking chair that rocked my brother and rocked me, or my grandmother sat in that chair in her later years and rocked and read Reader's Digest. I had to give myself permission to let it go. And I would like to let you know that you can also let things go. Many years ago, I had a wonderful, lovely customer named Connie McCallum, and she brought me an antique wicker bassinet with a picture of her in it. Now, Connie at that time was in her 80s, and she said this was my mother's bassinet. It was my bassinet. My son was in this bassinet, and she said there's no one for me to give this to, and I would like to bring it to you to sell and give it a new home and a new life. And I said, oh, Connie, man, isn't there anyone in your family who wants this? There's such a history to this bassinet, and you have a picture of yourself as an infant in it. Isn't there some? She says, no. And I am so thrilled that our family has had enjoyment out of this, and that I can pass this on. So I trust you to find a lovely home. So that sat in my store, Mon Ami, for several months, and we used it as a display piece. And one day, a frantic lady came in, and she said, I'm looking for something for a newborn. She said, I'm 49 years old. I just found out I'm pregnant. My kids are all grown. I have nothing in my house for a baby. I'm starting over, and I'm just looking for a bassinet or a cradle or something to have in my home when I bring this baby home. So guess where that bassinet went? And several months later, she brought me in a picture of her newborn baby cradled in that beautiful little wicker bassinet, and I gave that to Connie, and she was thrilled to know that that bassinet had a new life and a new home and was going to be a treasured heirloom in a new family. I share that with you because we surround ourselves with other people's memories, other people's treasures, and sometimes they are not our own. And it is okay to let things go and allow someone else to enjoy them and bring them into their home and into their family and give them a new life and create a new history. It's okay to let it go. Have a great day.